What the hell was that? What was that? Can I ask you a question? Does our coach ever get mad?
Probably not as mad as yourself. This is Tony Rizzo, host at ESPN Cleveland.
Well, it's time to get mad. It's time to get mad. The Cavs are better than that. They're better than the Knicks. They needed a freaking diaper in New York Friday and Sunday. They pooped down their leg. Boy, do you miss LeBron now or what?
Rizzo then goes off, name-dropping LeBron James, who's not been in Cleveland since the 2017-18 season.
My God, Donovan Mitchell. Dude, at least he owned it. At least he owned it. Did he score 11 points? How many points did he have in the second half, Paul? 2. JB's rotations suck. The Cavs bench sucks. Donovan Mitchell sucks. They look out of sorts. They're passing the ball. Nobody knows they look like they never played before. What was that?
Rizzo would continue to banter. Now, there were some who weighed in who despised Rizzo's rhetoric on the Cavs' woes, which he is not immune from, of course. Some even questioned if he watches the Cavs at all, which kind of seems like a miss. If you're a sports radio host, at least most of them watch all their local teams. After hearing tons of criticism, tons and tons of criticism, Rizzo would then say, and I quote, "Let me explain something to everybody because I ain't on social media and responding to everybody that had a problem with me lighting up the Cavs yesterday. You know what my job is? My job is to speak for you, the fan. I don't get paid by any of these teams. I'm underpaid by this company, but I don't get paid by any of these teams. I say what I feel. I say what I see, and I'm sorry if you don't like it." Okay, before I get into Rizzo and his rhetoric and blah, blah, blah. Let me just say this. From a basketball perspective, at least in that clip, he did not mention that Darius Garland is clearly not 100%. And it looked like he also got hurt twice in this series. In Game 4, the deciding factor was the Knicks' field goal percentage in the paint, in my opinion. Evan Mobley fouled out. Chetty Osman got blown by. And Josh Hart did his Josh Hart thing, creating second chance opportunities. The Cavs' interior defense was not awesome. All this with Julius Randle making way for Obi Toppin, Mitchell Robinson, and Isaiah Hartenstein in the second half. Both teams were awful from three. These were open looks that both teams were getting. Thus, the game was decided in the paint. Although they were the number one team in defensive efficiency via John Hollinger, they gave up a combined 74 to Jalen Brunson, Hart, and R.J. Barrett. Was Donovan Mitchell good? No, I think he would also admit that he's not good, but the piling on, as Rizzo did, was largely uncalled for, and some Cavs took exception to it. Now, let me be clear. Have we seen guys suffer in the playoffs? Of course we have. Game 7 against the Celtics. Kobe Bryant was bad. Game 5 against the Pacers, 2014 playoffs. LeBron, Eastern Conference Finals. 2 field goals. He was bad. 2003, Dirk, who some may view as the greatest European player ever, bagged 4 points against the Blazers. He was abysmal. It happens, is my point. It just simply happens. Now, back to Rizzo. He was talking about JB, as in JB Bickerstaff, Cleveland Cavaliers head coach. The rotations is what he said. I would ask, what would you like to see? Give me the rotations that you prefer, Coach Rizzo. Because here's what I would say. The Knicks practically play 5-on-4 when they go to different guys, like Isaac Okoro being left alone from three-point range. And if we're being objective, that's a fair defensive strategy because he's 2 of 10 in the series. Another takeaway was defensive rebounding versus second chance points. Those were the backbreakers. Obi Toppin had a really good game, but the box score won't show it. Isaiah Hartenstein had a really good game. The box score won't show it. If Evan Mobley fouls out, Jared Allen can only take one of those two guys. Give me the rotations you want. I would love to hear this. Who do I believe wins tonight? The Cavs, because they shut up Tony Rizzo. And here's my closing parting shot here. This is why many athletes like LeBron James launch media companies, because they feel like they are not being fairly represented. And this is why guys like Draymond Green launch shows, because of the criticism that has gone on for so long, where it is largely unchecked unless they go at him on Twitter, but you don't really want to give them any attention, right? That's the conundrum. Thus, you have shows, you have interviews. I remember hearing a story about how one guy would be greeted by the media in the locker room after the game, and all he would see was the old guard, predominantly old white guys who worked for newspapers. And if you go back and read some of those newspapers, off of newspapers.com, by the way, great source, you will see the criticisms were harsh, man. Harsh. These are supposed to be reporters and journalists who are objective. For a lot of it, it simply wasn't. So if I'm an athlete and I hear this, I get it. I did not play well. But the over-the-top bashing, it just feels like that is the old guard protecting their old ways and not modernizing sports talk radio.